Hey golfers, and welcome back to the Second Swing YouTube channel. It's another live at lunch here, Tuesdays at noon. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you get that notification when we go live. Today's a fun one. I've got Larry Bobka with me today here in the tour van at Minnetonka, and it's a big one because we've got PING G430 clubs with a big price drop going into effect today. So new PING G430 clubs are now at a lower price than ever before. So we're gonna do some testing today to show, well, I know you've spoken highly, Larry, of PING G430 over the last year and a half, how the whole series really has been awesome in the Bay. So can you kind of just lead us off there as people start filtering in and leaving some comments in the chat, you know, what you've seen from PING G430 last year and a half and why it's been so successful?
Well, first of all, live at lunch, I thought I was getting lunch.
Well, hey, we'll worry about that later.
Yeah. All right. So, no, G430 has been just absolutely amazing for us. You know, it's a PING line that, once again, they've made very, you know, it's based on performance, it's based on forgiveness, it's based on the ability to fit. I mean, you have an LST head in your hand. Yep. I mean, they make a max driver that spins a little bit more. Then they have the SFT, which is the straight fit technology. If you need to draw the golf ball and need a little bit more spin. So it really makes it's a well-rounded line, especially of drivers. We'll talk about the fairways and the hybrids, but very successful, very easy to fit. You know, sometimes in the fitting world, like in basketball, we have layups.
Yeah.
PING G430s for a lot of players is a layup.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it's in what I've been in talking to fitters here, and also just seeing the discourse maybe online or from other golfers. G430 as a whole has been superb in really every way, and I think there was, it's maybe some things that could have improved from G425 that I know PING went the engineers went right to work and absolutely optimized those things. So yeah, I'm just gonna hit some shots today. We've got the drivers, we've got some fairway woods, we've got iron, and we've got I'm all kind of built out here. But if any viewers have any comments or thoughts or questions about G430, please throw them in the chat. Otherwise, kind of the idea here, Larry, is just I'm going to hit some shots. I'll let you kind of dissect things and see if that's what you've seen in the fittings.
Well, and just, one of the things too, if you talk about, you mentioned G425. To me, one of the things immediately when we originally got the line in was the sound of the driver.
Yes.
They spent a lot of time making the sound of the drivers feel, to me, more solid. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that love that crashing sound. It feels like it goes a long way. Most golfers want a sound that's solid. If you take it too far where it's kind of thuddy and dead, then you don't think it's going anywhere. But I think they did an amazing job, especially in the LST head, bringing sound in there so it just feels like a much more solid shot. Hit a couple shots, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the drivers and see what we get.
Yeah. So
here's the first thing. How you been playing lately?
So I started the year pretty rough, but I actually, just as of Sunday, set a low handicap for my all-time, I guess as long as I've had a GIN account, I've had the lowest handicap ever. So
what is that?
I reached
what is that?
plus 0.1.
Plus 0.1?
Yeah, I've never been plus before. I finally got
Are
there,
you sure you're working enough? Just checking.
Good point.
Who's your direct supervisor over there at the DC?
Well, hey, I'm playing LB1 irons, so.
Well, of course, and that's going to help your scoring 1,000%.
So yeah,
let me pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, hit a few shots. Let's see what happens.
But this is G430 LST, and then I got the 65X PING, the black shaft.
Okay.
2.0. So.
Yep. Extra stiff.
Yep. It's a little off the toe.
Yep.
I'm curious to see how far that goes, because
317.
Yeah, that was a little bit kind of the in to out.
Well, but see, here, I mean, here's a perfect example. If we look at impact location, I mean, not terribly off the toe, but spin rate stays down. I mean, that's one of the great things. What we like to call this driver is the most forgiving low spin driver there is.
Yeah,
because it really is. It definitely is.
Yeah, I mean, we did a session recently with a couple of other second swing team members, and that's what they were saying. They play the LST driver, and they can just swing at it, and they know it's going to do its job.
Right. All right. See if you can hit one straight.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Turned it back over a little bit.
Turned it over back. I mean, it's a beautiful golf shot right there. I mean, there's not much to not like about that
No, I like that
driver
one.
for you.
I like that. Especially if we're out at this setting, you know, we got it's the open week. We've got our Lynx style 18th at
Well,
St.
and
Andrews
I
here.
have in the past, see this right over here where I'm pointing? I've stayed in that hotel room before a couple times.
Really?
Back in my former career. So
Well, here, if I ever slice one over there today,
Yeah,
I'm going to be
don't-
like,
yeah.
I'm targeting Larry over there.
yeah, let me tell you something. If it's windy and cold, that room is not the best room.
All right, that one's going to turn over.
I slept there one time with 4 blankets and a knit hat, so that's how cold it was. You know, and I like that shot too. You know, every once in a while, players look and go, oh, you know, I launched it, I spun it. I don't really consider that to be high spin at all. I mean, that's
No.
very controllable spin.
See, if you could see if the TrackMan picked up that hit location on that one, because that one didn't feel super
maybe a little Healy.
super centered. Yeah,
No,
it didn't.
did not get it.
It definitely didn't feel centered.
Yeah,
and
probably
so,
probably a little bit in the heel.
Yeah, which is if that's the heel ball
Yeah, yeah.
to hit
And
it.
again, and that's why the driver's great. I mean, I had one of those drivers. It is now in Chicago with my oldest daughter at her medical school in Chicago because she hit it better. She hit it really good, and you know, I couldn't say no. So,
Yeah.
I had a ping. It's not there anymore. Thanks, Kayla. Yeah, really, really solid. So let's do this. Let's throw the max head on there.
Okay.
Just to show people the difference.
Yeah.
So, what is your current driver?
I actually have the 10K right now,
Okay.
and I love the 10K.
Yep.
I played one of my better rounds of the year on Sunday, and it was. A large reason of that was because of the 10K.
Yeah.
Which we should note, you know, the Max and the 10K have a lot of similarities, and it's really the 10K is kind of a mixture of the LST and the Max in a lot of ways. Doesn't have the sliding weight though, which you know.
And the
both of these
10K is going to stay around, so 10K is not part of this
right.
price drop, correct?
Right. Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Because they're gonna keep that driver well into next year because it's really good.
Yes. Now, I'm looking at the Max here as I kind of set it up. It's definitely a little bit bigger head. It kind of, or in the sense of like it looks bigger. It's got kind of a larger footprint, but it's not anything crazy in that regard.
No.
We got a comment there we can
Yeah.
talk about too. So
do.
seeing any trends in shaft fit for players with the 10K, 95 to 105 miles an hour swing speed?
Yeah, actually the shaft you have there in your hand,
Yeah?
without a doubt.
The 2.0 black?
2.0, I mean, that shaft originally was designed, and I still believe it's manufactured by UST, but that was Ping engineers and UST engineers getting together and making a shaft that is tour quality performance without without a huge upcharge. So, very happy with that performance. Depending on your speed, the Kylie
Oh, sure.
60 for sure.
Yeah.
Those would be, if somebody came in for a fitting, that would be the two shafts that I would try. And at 95 to 100, I would probably grab the 65 S and X in that one and the 60 S and X in the Kylie and see what happens.
What have you seen in terms of like a ratio of players in like the Max versus LST versus SFT in the drivers?
Well, I probably do more Max and LSTs because I tend to get a little bit better players coming to see me. Guess because I've done a couple things in this business, and
Yeah.
so I tend to get a little better. I don't do that many SFTs, but I know you could grab one of the other fitters and they probably go, well, I do more SFTs than I do maxes.
Right, yeah.
You know, but it's based on people's swing. You know, I just, my clientele tends to, you know, the people that book fittings for me tend to want to get my expertise, so they're a little bit better players, and so I don't do that many SFTs, but man, maxes and LX, probably 50-50, because it's really about spin, you know, because they launch pretty much the same, but they're going to spin differently.
Yeah.
And, you know, and depending on your speed, and there's players that, you know, are high speed that actually need the max spin. You know, it's all individual how you deliver the golf club. Yeah. You know, and there's so many, you know, I was just watching earlier, and, you know, Bryson and Dana Dahlquist were on there talking about how Bryson's swinging and what, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different thoughts. You know me, I'm pretty old school when it comes to thoughts about golf clubs and how to swing the golf club, where there's a lot of the new guys talking about, you know, trying to hold the angle longer and rotate. So depending on what you're doing, you can't just say, hey, I'm a high-speed guy, I need to play an LST. Right. Okay.
When you're seeing more of that on tour too, guys going, I mean, I know that's the big trend on some of these bigger names even, is this year there's a lot fewer quote-unquote low-spin heads in play, because players are either the heads themselves, the, I guess, standard core model heads are lower spinning than usual, or those players are just, they need a little bit more extra lift and spin.
And what you got to remember, the industry's making this low spin and making this low spin.
Right.
Okay? And if you don't have the speed, ball's not going to stay in the air. I mean, perfect. I had Jennifer Huber, who's teaching pro out at Hazeltine, came in and fit her in a driver. And you know what? We had to go to 11.5 degrees, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is more loft than ever played. I go, but Jennifer, you're playing a club head that spins less and a golf ball that spins less.
Yeah.
You know, and what do you need? You need height. You need spin. You need the ball in the air, especially, you know, and a lot of people are seeing it this year in Minnesota. I mean, the last couple of years we've had a lot of drought.
Yes.
Ball's been run, right? Carry distance wasn't that big of a deal in the last 2 years. Now all of a sudden everybody's running in and going tweaking their their lofts, because you know what? Because it's been wet. You know, I mean, it's rained virtually every day in July. Well, I saw the weather. There's been 3 days this year in July that it has not rained. So golf courses here are a little bit soft.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah. All right, so this is the Max. I want to switch that tag up there too. I got the G430.
And if we want to answer him on the Chrome 2.0,
sure,
yeah, definitely. Definitely a good one to try too.
Yeah, actually the Chrome is what I actually have in my my driver. So
so there would be, I mean, you know, between the black, the Chrome, and the Kylie, that's, you know, it's 3 great choices at that speed.
Right, and they're all stock options too.
So,
you want to switch that tag to the G430 Max on the TrackMan. I got it up there. Click on I can swing. Just click right there, and then tags.
Yeah, I've done this before, but you know.
Yeah.
G430.
On the right there.
There we go. See, you guys are so good.
G430 Max.
Can I tell you a real quick funny story? So when I came to work for Second Swing, okay, was in the Bay, was going to do a fitting, and Aaron Roth, one of our other great fitters, you know, was kind of helping me through, and all of a sudden I'm going to start. I go, hey, can you turn the TrackMan on? And he looks at me and he goes, you don't know how to turn a TrackMan on? I said, I had people at Titleist that turned it on for me. I wasn't the TrackMan guy. I just stood there and watched. I wasn't the guy that ever did that. So I actually 5 years ago had to figure out how to turn it on and figure out a little bit more about the TrackMan.
Well,
so even in your late 50s, can teach an old dog some new tricks.
I love that. All right, G430 Max.
Yep.
Still in that black 2.0.
Absolutely. Okay, so good solid swing. Launch just a fraction higher, but there's the spin at 2,900 instead of where you were down in, in 2000s. Your highest one with the other one was 26.
Which, as you talked about around here, that's probably preferred right now versus the kind of lower one.
It's not a bad thing because, carry distance wise, it actually carried a couple yards longer than you were carrying it with the LST.
Right.
I can tell you this year in Minnesota, I have found out how short a 64-year-old man can be with his driver.
Yeah, it's just been, I don't know where, where everybody's watching from today, but I know around here, it has been a very wet summer.
Yeah.
Lots of rain, lots of storms.
Yeah, well, the wrench has been handy to crank up the driver, that's for sure.
So that one I felt like I missed. And you can even see I got only 161 ball speed.
Let's see where
Smash factor was 145. Got it high in the face.
A little high in the face.
So it knocked that spin down a little bit, but it's still.
Yeah, and hey, if you are getting fittings indoors, whether it's us or anybody else, if you have that kind of tee configuration, about every 3 shots you should double check the tee, because it tends to slide up a little bit after you hit it. So that is one thing that we constantly preach to.
Good point.
To our fittings, that hey, about every 3 shots, just double check the tee height.
Yeah, I tend to tee it pretty high.
Yep.
I'm usually comfortably above the leading edge with the center of the ball.
Yeah.
That one could go a little bit left. Actually, a ways left.
Yeah, not terribly though.
It's still in play.
Still in play. Let's see.
Just kind of shut the face on that one.
Well, yeah. Let's see where we struck
to my
that.
path.
No, we didn't get it.
See, that was look at my path is 8.7 on that one.
Yeah, yeah. You dropped it in. You dropped it inside. And that's where when you're looking at a driver and you're fitting a driver, and say we would be in between LST and max for you. A lot of times, a lot of fitters take. You'll hit 10 shots, and they'll eliminate 7, and they'll look at the best 3. Okay. Well, it's golf. You have to play your foul balls.
Yeah, you do.
I always, unless it's a horrible shot, I always leave all the shots in there.
Yeah.
Because I want to make sure that I'm getting you a driver.
Because I will hit that shot on the golf course.
You're gonna, hey, we're humans. We're gonna hit a bad shot. And we all know it's a game of mistakes. So he who misses it best wins.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So let's see what we do with that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, not terrible. But
Yeah,
that
little bit low face maybe, but even
that
still.
wouldn't be your drive. Hit one more, and then you know what? Just for the fun, we're gonna throw the SFT on there just for a couple swings.
All right,
just to see what happens.
Swung a little harder on that one. I definitely have this in-to-out path going today.
Okay, we have a couple of questions there. What shaft is on the max?
So we got this is the 2.0.
Yep, same one we had. We just interchanged heads.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yep. And then 10K driver with stiff black chrome shaft has been my favorite driver all the time. I'm very steep and fight high spin, and this driver delivers. Beautiful. Love to hear that.
Look at that.
Love to hear that.
All right, so we're gonna try the SFT right now.
Yeah, we're just gonna make a couple swings with it. Just to show people what it does.
I also want to see exactly how much different that looks, because so the SFT is designed, straight flight technology, designed
to
kind of correct a slice, which today isn't necessarily my problem.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
All right, so we've got here's the max back.
Yep. There we go. We're going to throw that.
It's also a 10 degree or 10.5 degree.
Well, so we're here for research purposes.
Yeah. I wonder how often this combo has been used.
Extra stiff and an SFT. You know what? I bet you there is a very small piece of the golfing population that would actually fit into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there'll be many. All right, we should be good.
No, but you never know. You might just stripe it. And that'll get you thinking. See, the worst thing about doing these videos is all of a sudden you start striping it and you're like, oh, now you start thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So folks, just think about this. we're as crazy as you all are about golf equipment, and we're around it all day long. So
Yeah.
trust me, there's a lot of bag changes with second swingers.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's what, Paul Sorowski was one of the guys we did that session with. And, he was saying
Right.
he's played, last year, years
Yeah.
before, he's played 10 to 12 drivers in a year.
Yeah.
He tinkers so much.
Oh, yeah.
But he put G430 LST in the bag to start last year and hasn't switched since.
Yeah.
So that tells me, hey, there's something going right here with these G430s.
Yeah, I had lunch with him last week. It took 45 minutes to describe all the drivers he's used over the last 2 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I don't think I've used that many drivers my entire life.
I mean, and Kevin Kraft on the channel all the time. He's the most, well, up until I had heard that from Paul, he was the king of tinkering.
Right.
But Paul, that many drivers is.
Oh no! And Paul had his day off. He walked out of here with an old set of irons and an old wedge yesterday. So
Okay, well,
yeah, he's
still tinkering, I guess.
Yeah.
At least.
All right, let's see what this does.
All right, SFT. I'm hoping it doesn't go too far left, but. It's still hot off the face.
Yeah, but there's exactly what it does.
Yeah.
It goes left. I mean, the spin's not ridiculous.
No.
The carry's not ridiculous. I mean, there's really no it. So if you do have somebody that's struggling, it's like I said, it's not going to fit a lot of players, but it might fit some.
Yeah. No, that's the thing about this, because I even set it down and it even appears a little bit, I don't want to say it actually is closed, but it has that look of kind of being closed at address.
It is.
I think it's just because there's more weight down in the heel side here.
But it looks a little more closed to me. So
Which
it
I
probably
imagine
is.
for a lot of players, though, is actually inviting to them.
Well, and you can open it up, and there's a movable weight in there. So
Yeah. Yeah, you got the weight. You can go, it's either draw or draw plus. So,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely not.
semi-draw or all draw.
Yep.
Oh, look at this. Oh, we got you thinking now.
Yep.
But there's the spin rate.
Yep.
Okay. There's the spin rate that's going to, keep you from playing that driver because it's 3,200.
Right.
But all in all, I mean, still carrying very well, still doing very well. I mean, that's why you can't buy it off the rack. That's why you got to get fit.
Yep.
Because you look at these drivers, and there hasn't been a tremendous amount of difference. Maybe 1,200 RPMs in spin from LST to SFT. Ball flight differences, carry very similar. In fact, that's one of your longest carries of the day.
And this is 10.5 degrees behind you.
Yeah,
too,
but that's where you have to come in and get fit.
Yeah.
Trying to stand there and trying to find the nuances of all these products by yourself is a little crazy.
And I did that before I was a second swing guy.
And no disrespect to all you people out there, but come get fit. Make your life a whole lot easier. And I don't care if you're plus handicap like Drew here or you're a 25 handicap. Come on in.
Yeah. So
I just had a fitting. I just had a fitting for a lady for a 25, and she had the biggest smile when she walked out right before this because you know what? Now she understands her game better. She understands her equipment and she understands her game, and the stuff that wasn't fit correctly for her. Now all of a sudden she realizes that, hey, it was less about me and it was more about my equipment.
Right.
Isn't that our tagline? It's not you, it's your clubs. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it really, in some cases, it really is.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little tongue-in-cheek with the slogan, but also in a lot of cases, it truly can be like.
Absolutely.
It can be that sort of missing piece to you reaching your goals.
Well,
maybe.
and especially this time of the year, Drew, we get all the players that, okay, you've been playing now for a few months here, and a lot of tournaments are coming up. A lot of club championships are coming up. I've seen a ton of the guys that have been playing in the State Open, the State Am.
State Am's going on right now.
Aaron Roth and I have been really busy with a lot of really good players because they're looking for a club here, a club there. Hey, I'm going to play Minnesota Valley and I need a hybrid, or I'm going to play Windsong and it's going to be windy. I need a driving iron. A lot of different things. A lot of guys, Scotland trip. Never had a 2-iron before. You got to find me a 2-iron because everybody says my 7-wood's not going to work in Scotland. So I mean, there's a lot of that. So there's a lot of that tinkering going on that goes on all the time that, hey, you know, if you're going to go over, say you're going to Scotland, you're going to spend a whole bunch of money, why not have equipment in the bag there that's going to help you play better in those conditions? Because right now it's so anti-Minnesota.
Right.
Know?
Right.
All right, one more.
Let's get one more. I think we're seeing a little bit with this spin here why 10.5 is too much loft for me.
Right, and you're seeing the ball going left naturally too.
Hit that one pretty hard. 170 ball speed, yeah. I mean, I'll take that ball all day.
Yeah.
It carried a 290. So.
Carried 290. See, got you thinking now.
No, I mean, hold on.
I know, but again, that's what we said. You know, if you know, especially with this price drop now, if you're interested in a G4, set up a fitting.
Oh yeah.
You know, set up a fitting with one of our fitters, and you're going to find it will maximize that golf club. You know, so now we can put the potential of you as a golfer and the potential of the driver in your hands, and it just makes the game so much more fun.
I'm thinking now in terms of price. I mean, G430 now in the fitting bay of stuff that's going to be fitted is going to be the lowest price in there, pretty much.
Well, yeah, and you know, and everybody who walks in the bay. Okay, I'm going to tell you, you know, I've been here for 5 years. I know that, and I've been doing this, been fitting golf clubs for 43 years. All I can tell you is I have never, ever with a driver had anybody ever walk in and go, you know what, I'm hitting it too far.
Right.
Right? Yeah. I want to hit it a little bit shorter. The ball's going too far. I mean, everybody's looking.
You might get that with irons or something.
Irons maybe because of spin rates, but with a driver, everybody's trying to max it out.
Yeah.
You know, and you got younger guys that are swinging out of their shoes. You got older guys like me that are still trying to play the back tees or a set up from the back tees to keep up with the 30-year-old guys you're playing with, which is crazy. I've moved up. In fact, next year is 65. We're going gold. That cart's going so fast to the gold tees, it'll make your head spin. But everybody, you know, everybody wants to keep up, you know, and it's kind of, the game's kind of distance obsessed right now. And to not come in and maximize out your driver, I think it's...
And that's what I like about Ping, too, is they've, while it is such a distance-focused kind of golf world right now, they still have absolutely maintained their forgiveness, their MOI in their equipment, their drivers, you know, as we've seen here. So
we have...
just one comment there from, you know, him mentioning there was a question from Suprand there about all of the different options there. That actually whale sharks, all the different options, it can be almost too many, which is kind of the blessing for us as fitters. You know, I imagine when you go into a fitting for a Ping driver, and there's all these options. There's the shaft, there's flat versus upright settings, there's loft, multiple different heads for the G430s. Like, I know for you that's a good thing, and you're looking to use all of them as possible.
No. When I wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, my head's spinning from all the, you know. You know, remember, you know, I worked for Titleist for 19 years. I only had one club to fit with different shafts.
Right.
Now I have how many brands to fit with all these different shafts? Yeah, it's pretty tough on an old brain like mine to keep them to keep them straight. But you know, sometimes it's kind of I would say most of the time it's wonderful. Sometimes it's kind of a curse, because then you get some players that are trying to nitpick it a little bit too much, you know, ultimately. And that's why, to me, one of the best things about Second Swing is our 30-day play guarantee. Right now I get a chance, okay, well, hey, this driver was good, this driver, well, you know what, I really would like to see you take this one out, okay? Take that one out, see how it works in the real world for 2 or 3 weeks. And then if you feel like you're struggling a little bit or it's not working as well as we hope, then bring it back and we'll try we'll try something else.
You get your credit that you paid. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the good side, but you got to think about it in the shaft world. And in no disrespect to shaft companies, because I helped start UST. You know, when you get into that 65 gram range, there's a lot of nuances. Right. You know,
the tip end, the butt, the midsection. Yeah, I mean,
you know, I remember years ago somebody asked me, well, what's the best 65 gram shaft? And, you know, I was in Titleist's tour department. I think I pulled like 17 shafts out.
Yeah.
It's 65 grand. Well, you tell me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the other part is everybody's got a different swing, so there's no way to give a universal correct answer.
No, there's no way to give a universal correct answer, but to me, the one is you want good numbers and you want feel. The last thing you want to do is pick a driver and pick a shaft combination, and, you know, it's creating good numbers, but in your hands it doesn't feel very good. Because you know what? I guarantee your confidence level is never going to be high. I mean, one of the things that we do as fitters here is get you walk out the door with very high confidence. That's what I want you to do. I want you to walk out the door and feel. It's like I like to say is I don't want you to be on the 15th hole and hit a bad tee shot and kind of curse Larry's name because it's a bad driver. I want, you know, I want the text message going, man, I drove it better than ever, and thanks for getting me into this driver. I love the way it looks. I love the way it feels.
Right.
That's the bottom line, you know, and you know, having been to Ping a few times and knowing those guys, the designers and the fitters there, that's what they try to do.
Yeah.
You know, they try to create equipment that's visually appealing with performance.
Yeah. And I mean, they do that pretty darn good job of it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
should we do some 3-woods here?
Yeah, let's do some 3-woods. I need a little Diet Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's my version of water.
That's good. Diet Mountain Dew, quick little ad there.
Hopefully my wife's not watching that, but
All right.
you know,
All right.
made it this far drinking that stuff.
Yeah,
I'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got. Let's see. What do I got in here? I've got the. This is a Ping Tour 75X
Nice.
3-wood shaft with a LST.
Perfect.
I think that'll be a good combo.
Yep.
I actually currently play the G425 LST,
Okay.
and I do love that. G430 looks actually, well, better,
Yep.
just appealing wise to me.
I would say too, just from a fitting standpoint, I probably do more maxes than I do LSTs and
For the
3-woods.
That makes sense.
Because in modern golf these days, you know, once again the discussion about the club spinning low and the ball spinning low.
Yeah.
You know, I think if there's one club over the years that we've made it a little bit harder for the average player, even better players, is 3-wood because of the loft and the spin rate. I mean, that's why you see a lot of guys playing higher lofted clubs. We have a tremendous amount of people. I'm telling you, you know, we'll probably hit a couple swings with that. But the 5-wood,
Yeah.
you know, I had a guy yesterday go driver 5-wood, you know, and driver speed was about 95 miles an hour. It's tough to get 3-wood in the air.
Yeah, it's almost like with the mini drivers out too. It's like you're seeing a lot. Like we had this discussion in our live at lunch last week with a lot of people in the chat. We're saying their bag setup is this, and so
Right.
few of them actually went driver 3-wood, 5-wood, or driver 3-wood, you know, hybrid. Right? It was a lot of driver, mini driver, 7-wood, or it was driver, mini driver, 5-wood, whatever. You know, it's the state like
and that's like I'm driver 3-wood, Callaway Utility 21.
Oh yeah, that utility wood, which is, by the way, I've heard awesome things about that club too. So, all right.
So, all right, go ahead.
So this is G430 LST 3-wood. I like how this looks a lot. Simple on the crown here, just that one dot for alignment. That is a lot of ball speed for a 3-wood.
That is a ton of ball speed for a 3-wood.
Still got that into-out club path today.
Yes, you do.
See if I can fix that a little bit here. Kind of tried to cut it almost.
There you go.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that. You know,
That's the straightest shot I've ever hit, I think.
Yeah, and you know, you start talking about spin rates with 3-woods. It's kind of what you use it for. Okay, if it's more of a driving club for you, I would opt to spin rate 3,000, 3,200
Yeah.
in there. Okay. For me, for a 3-wood, I need to be there.
Yeah,
I need to be 39.
sure.
I
Anything
need
off
to
the
be
deck.
about 39 to 4,000. Otherwise, my 3-wood's not going to stay in. Speed's way lower than you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where, you know, when everybody starts talking about optimal spin, what's the best, you know what? Well, it's the best spin for your speed
Yeah.
and your attack angle. So, attack angle, launch angle.
Yep. Yeah, definitely when you're off the deck, you're going to naturally probably hit it with more spin, but also you need more spin if you're hitting off the deck and trying to be
Right,
keeping on the green.
and then for
that
you,
goes for any fairway wood.
well, and for you and for fitting, I would probably have you hit more 3-woods off a low tee, because you're going to use it more. You're going to use it more as a driving club,
Correct, yeah.
than you are as because you hit it far enough that, you know, maybe once, twice a month you actually hit a 3-wood off.
Yeah, that's probably about accurate. Yeah,
Yeah.
rarely it doesn't happen. I mean, it takes a pretty long par 5 for me to pull that out.
Right, absolutely.
That was low. See if it rises up a little bit. Yeah, there it is.
Yep, but doesn't hurt anything. Okay, so hit one more,
Okay.
and then we'll switch to the max.
Ooh, that's a mishit.
Do we have a max head or just the LST?
Holy mishit. That was a bad swing.
Do we have a 3-wood max?
I think we should down there. If we don't, I can just hit the 5-wood here.
Yeah, just hit the 5-wood.
I'm gonna hit one more because I don't want that one
You
on
know,
the screen.
the max, the 430 max. If you look at what guys are playing on tour, very, very popular model.
Yeah.
You know, my former student and good friend Lucas Glover swears by the PING Fairway.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely loves it. So,
Look at
yeah,
that.
so,
Look at that. That's
you
a
know,
cut
to
right
me,
there.
yeah, to me, it's going to be a little, you know, probably a little too much work. Although, take that and set that in the little plus setting.
The little plus.
Put that in little plus.
And then hit it a few times.
Yeah, and hit it a couple times.
Okay.
You know, and again, that's another thing, especially if you're not spinning it that much. Don't be afraid to put a little bit of loft on your 3-wood.
Little plus. So that brings it up
Yeah.
1 degree.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't call it 3-wood. It's a 3-metal.
It's a 3-wood. I mean,
It's a metal. It's a metal to me.
I suppose if you're the traditionalist like yourself, you know,
it's a
wood
metal.
means wood.
Yeah, I mean, I got.
Wood club. You
I got my 3-wood in the car. I have my 3-metal and my 3-wood in the car.
All right. So this is.
Okay, so this is lofted up a degree,
Okay.
and let's see what happens.
It's definitely a little low launching still. Ooh,
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay.
But it carries
That's awesome.
better. So, you know, a lot of times when people are struggling a little bit with their 3-wood and they're like, man, I need another shaft. The loft controls 80 to 85% of the shot.
Yeah.
The other 15% of the launch and the spin is going to be taken care of with the shaft.
Yeah.
So you're much better just kind of playing, you know, sitting on the range, just playing with the wrench till you find the flight that you need.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that's great right there. That one might go way left.
Yeah.
Oh, not too bad actually.
Just pulled a little bit.
Yeah, I felt like I came across the shut face.
So
which I
you've
did.
added loft, and we've added carry, and we haven't really hurt our spin whatsoever.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
It's pretty wild. As we like to say around here, loft is your friend.
I agree with that. All right. All right, this is going to be interesting. Okay. So that was low face.
Low face, slowed it down.
I did slow down too, didn't I?
Yeah. Let's see if we can see where that actually fit. No,
Not this time.
No.
Let me get one more. That one was roasted, it felt like.
That is really solid.
Yeah. There's the big high fade you hit into a right pin on a long par 5.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so with 3 woods, like I said, and again, we have an LST, a Max, and an SFT.
Yep.
So again, you got matching 3 woods for the drivers you have. You've got a lot of options, and again, 3 wood wise, you know, you got to pick one. And to me, it's shaft. Yeah, shaft matters, but it's way more about having the right loft in your hand, especially if you're, you know. And what are you going to do with it? You know, it's kind of, you know, we talked a little bit before about the mini driver craze.
Right.
Well, the strong players are playing this, but they're not really using it off the ground. They have it's kind of like having driver A and driver B.
They might even have it lofted down as
you know,
well.
and it's not a new concept. You know, back in the 80s and early 90s when guys were still playing woodwoods, they had their persimmon drivers, and then they were playing. TaylorMade had the original one at 12 degrees.
Yeah.
They had the brassy. They had the tour spoon. That was like driver A and driver B. So it's we're just kind of back to the same thing, you know, 40 years later, that we're doing kind of the same thing for the stronger players.
Yeah.
So
Makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
All right. So that was the 3 wood. Do you want to hit 5 wood, or I got this iron built too? We could talk irons.
Here we got a question. The best advice I could give to people to get fit. Spent way too much money to fit myself. I've been at second swing in Minnesota. You need to open one in Chicago. Well, where are you in Chicago? Because I grew up in the Park Ridge area. You know, I got a daughter in medical school there. You know, maybe we could come down and do a private fitting for you.
Yeah. Make it in a trip.
Yeah. No, Chicagoland is, you know, that's, you know, what's the song? Home Sweet Home Chicago.
Sure.
It still is. So, you know, you hate to say, you know, you don't want to spend, but, you know, you can drive here.
Well, there is people that travel quite a ways for some of these things. That's so I've heard.
I have had North Dakota. I've had people fly from New York. I have had people fly. I had a guy from California that came in. You know, if you're serious about what you're doing, and if you're going to spend a whole bunch of money, and all of a sudden you spend 4 or 5, you know, it makes more sense to get a flight, come here, spend some time, maybe stay overnight, play a little golf. Hey, and you know what? And I'm going to tell you something. If somebody's going to fly in and do that, and set it up, and can set it up through me, be more than happy to go to dinner with you and talk golf with you. If you're going to fly in and do it. I had a guy from Pinehurst just do it this weekend. So
then Larry could take you around Chaska Town Course.
Take you around Chaska Town Course. So there you go. You guys got a standing invite to go do that.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from Chicago, you got to bring me some hot dogs and beef sandwiches.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right, let's start.
Lou
We'll start wrapping
Malnati's pizza too.
We'll start wrapping. We got the G430 iron here.
Okay, so we got the 7-iron.
This is a 7-iron. Project X 6.5 in here. Not a very common build, I imagine, as well.
So not a common build, but the other, you know, one of the things in this line, you know, we were there a few years back when they introduced this line, and you know, they went a little bit stronger in the lofts.
Yeah. The right side there. Up.
There we go. They went a little bit stronger in the lofts, and part of the reason they did that was they took a look at tons and tons of golfers from low handicaps to higher handicaps to figure out where most people hit their shots from. And they found this, you know, 150 to 130 yard shot. And they felt like if they could strengthen the loft a little bit and maybe add another wedge in there, that they would actually make it easier, that you'd hit a little bit less club in the green and have a little bit more. Because you really want to be dialed in from 150 yards in. I mean, if you got a little bit of a gap, say, between your hybrid and your 4-iron, or between your hybrid and your 3-wood, it never shows up that often. I mean,
it's,
you know,
it's
once,
more rare that you're in that spot versus that 100.
Once a month, twice a month, you're sitting out there going, well, you know, I might have to take. But how many times do people stand out there and go, man, I got this distance and I'm in between clubs all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that to yourself. All right, let's see what we do with this.
This is a 7-iron G430, which, as we've talked about, not necessarily my fit, but
right.
I think with this, it's about kind of the spin and the loft that it gets here. So. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we got decent launch.
Yeah.
Actually, not too bad. You left face open just a little bit, but you know, it's a pretty good swing there. It spun 5,200. That's not horrible by any stretch.
Yeah, because I know that's kind of the conversation with these game improvement irons is sometimes the spin will drop, you know, low 4,000s for a lot of players, and that becomes a discussion you have to have.
Well, yeah, and that's the battle sometimes that, you know, depending on your speed. But on the other side, again, like I said, you know, if I get somebody that brings in a set of clubs and they're hitting their 7-iron 135 yards, and I can give them a 7-iron that goes 150 or 155 yards with really good launch conditions.
Yeah.
Think about it. Now I'm hitting 9-iron into a green. I'm going to hit more 9-irons on the green than I am 7-irons on the green.
Because the shaft is shorter, it's more
Right,
controlled
and
swing,
that was the whole reasoning between Ping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over the lower 5,000
Very
spin.
nice.
Those are pretty similar golf shots right there.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, that was skinny. Wow.
Not hurting you much
should-
at all, is it?
No, that's actually fat. I'm surprised by that one.
Well, here, let me have that for a sec. You know, and the thing is, you look at this as a game improvement iron, okay? Or I like to call it user friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you know, the first time when I grab a golf club, I take a look at it and go, hey, how does it look? How does the profile look? How does the offset look? I mean, the thing to me about this golf club is even though it's a larger golf club, it doesn't look bulky.
Yep.
Okay, it looks big, which you want it to be a little bit bigger because you want to inspire some confidence. You also want to inspire that, hey, if I hit it left or right on the face, you know, I'm going to get away with it. But you put it down and you're like, okay, well, it's not like some irons that have so much offset that they just immediately look like they're going to go that way. Mm-hmm. So from my standpoint, when we first saw these, you know, I'm like, hey, I like the way they look.
Yeah.
You know, kind of modern golf clubs, you know, especially in this category, you're gonna see a little bit of back of the iron on, you know, the 5 or the 6, and maybe you see a little bit here on the 7, but you know, to me, it's not gonna bother you if I get the performance.
Right, and Ping, especially since G400, Ping's done a really good job of cleaning up the look, and it's a lot more compact. It looks very friendly.
And it's hard because you know, the whole goal, the way the ball's going to fly higher in the air is to get the center of gravity farther from the shaft.
Right.
Okay. Remember, you know, you're probably too young, but back in the day, Hogan made a set called the Radials, and they had a big sole on them, and you saw the back. I mean, it looked like a soup ladle. But I'm telling you, those things made the ball go up in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. But a lot of people didn't like it because they didn't like the way it looked. So engineers have spent a lot of time, and that's where you get these multi-materials with tungsten, trying to make it look like a good club with performance.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that was fat. That spin will go way down, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually probably doesn't hurt the dispersion too much.
No. All right.
All said and done.
So let's see you crank one up.
Oh, do you want me to swing hard at one?
Oh yeah, I want to see one.
All right. How far can I hit the G430?
See how far you can hit it.
Big draw?
Right.
Ooh. That might be in your hotel room.
That might be in the hotel room. That's close. Let's try that. Let's try that one more time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Face angle there.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why I want you to do that. So go ahead one more time.
Dude, what did you tell me to do? Just swing hard again?
Just swing hard again. Okay, so a lot of ball speed. Look at that, carry 209. Okay, but think about this, okay? And I was listening to it this morning. Bryson DeChambeau's talking with his instructor, Dana Dahlquist, and they're kind of talking about Bryson's ideas about playing, okay? I can hit that you can hit that 7-iron 209 yards. You're going to have to fill the back end with some wedges and some scoring clubs. But is that necessarily a bad thing? No, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because now I've got more control with those shorter clubs.
Yep.
Okay. Some people might sit there and go, "Well, that's not going to stop on the green well enough."
I mean, really,
it
kind of will. It's 50
it
degree
will.
landing
I mean,
angle.
it's got a 49 land angle. It's actually pretty good. But you have to then sit there and go, okay, well then I'll get the 8, 9, the pitch, the 2, what they would consider 2 gap wedges, and then move on from there. So you're actually going to end up with a 5 wedge set. Right,
which is becoming more normal.
Yeah. Okay. They did the British Amateur SMS on tour does surveys of players. And I think out of 155 players or 156 players, only 2 players had 3 wedges in their bag. Everybody else had 4 wedges.
Yeah.
Okay. And we've seen on the European Ladies Tour some 5 wedge setups already.
Yeah.
Okay. You know, the stronger lofts kind of rename the numbers a little bit, but on the other side, you're getting a shorter club that has less dispersion. I mean, I have had a ton of success with the 430s for players because they're excited. They've picked up distance. Their game's better. They're hitting a lot better shots. So, you know, I mean, it's something to think about, you know, and me as a traditionalist, I mean, that's basically the same loft as my 5-iron.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
No, it's one thing to strengthen the loft, but as long as
you get that
gets the ball in the air.
launch condition.
Right.
And
now, granted, I swung really hard at that one, but those other shots I was hitting were totally high enough and
absolutely.
more.
When we were there 2 years ago and they introduced us to that line, that was the one concern. And you know me, when it's non-traditional, I'm the first guy raising the hand, going, "What's the ball flight like?
Yeah.
Show me the spin rates. Show me what you've been getting." Because I just don't want a golf club that's stronger that's not going to perform for my customers, because then we're going to struggle trying to get it.
Right. But, and so like even I was hitting before, not at that speed, but it was still getting high enough, spinning comfortably into the 5,000s. Yeah. And it was never a concern there.
Well,
so.
And I'll tell you, I did the member guest podcast a few weeks ago, and Jordan asked me a question. He said, "Hey, if you had to play one brand other than your own for the I would pick Ping."
Yeah.
Because there's so many choices.
Yeah.
There's so many choices between the 430 and their other lines. I mean, I could set myself up with a set of 430s and go play golf tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
And go trudge it around Chaska Town Course and shoot.
I'm sure you'd shoot your
74, 75,
yeah,
and we'll figure it out. It's because my short game's not good these days.
Yes, it is.
No practice.
Yeah, well, as we start to wrap up here, I mean, I know the final message, and we've had it in the chat already today, but it's just getting fit is so important. That's kind of the overwhelming, I guess, message here, in addition to the lower prices now on new PING G430. Schedule that fitting. It's among the lowest price stuff now in the fitting bay. Yeah,
well, and the other thing we didn't talk about is the hybrid.
Right. Which we're running out of time, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hybrids are great. Yeah. The hybrids, the whole line's really good. Schedule a fitting, you're going to get the advantage of a price drop, and you're going to get some stuff that's really good. But just make sure you get fit. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you don't, if you don't get fit, you're kind of hurting yourself, and it just makes it that much easier to come in, be able to hit a few different shafts, try a few different things. you know, one of the big things to me is length of golf club, you know, because then I can maintain my spine angle through a golf shot. So, you know, come in, get all that stuff done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, PING G430, lower prices now than ever before. So go schedule a fitting. It's drivers, fairways, hybrids, irons, the whole thing. Larry or any one of our fitters here at Minnetonka or any of our stores can get you dialed in. So golfers, make sure you tune in every Tuesday at noon Central Time for a live at lunch. We'll be back next week. Larry, thank you for your time today. Appreciate you joining today.
You're very welcome. All right.
All right, guys, PING G430 clubs. You guys ready to swing?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, this is LST here.
What do you see when you look down at that driver?
It's very confidence inspiring, I would say. Like you feel like you can give it a go and it's gonna do its job and I don't really have to think too much. I kind of like that.
Buttercut.
That's the flight.
You're giving it a good rip too. That's that nice little butter fade. That just looks like it's so easy for you.
That was perfect. If I can hit that one every time, I'm sold, I'm done.
G430 irons here. Ton of performance in there. The PureFlex cavity badge too. I mean, there it is again.
Perfect.
Really helps with that sound and feel aspect, as well as, of course, all the ball speed across the face. There's a good ball.
Yeah, real high, real easy to hit. It's like you don't have to put too much thought into it. I'm not thinking about my swing. It's
It kind of eliminates your swing thoughts.
exactly, which I have way too many.
I think we all do. That's why you want this kind of an iron.